few weeks ago, I added support to allow CloudAhoy and MyFlightbook to work together. CloudAhoy is a great tool for debriefing flights with pilots. It'll record your flight path using the GPS on your iPhone. And it does a great job of debriefing the flight and the maneuvers that you performed with it. And so that's really cool functionality to add to MyFlightbook. And CloudAhoy doesn't have a logbook, and well, MyFlightbook's a great logbook. So we decided to work together so that both users of both products could get the benefits of each other. And so today I'm going to show how that works. The first thing that you need to do is on the website, go to the Profile tab and then go to Preferences. And down at the bottom of Preferences, you'll see a CloudAhoy section. If you click that, there is a link that says Authorize MyFlightbook to work with CloudAhoy. Basically, when you click this, you will give permission to MyFlightbook to access your account on CloudAhoy. So let me click that. And I have to sign in on CloudAhoy, say it's really me. And CloudAhoy is asking me, do I want to give permission for MyFlightbook to read my CloudAhoy flights and to import flights into my CloudAhoy account? And so obviously I'm going to say allow access. If I deny access, this will be a short demo. And when I click that, it takes me back to MyFlightbook. And now you see I have authorized MyFlightbook to work with CloudAhoy, and the link is changed to say deauthorize MyFlightbook on CloudAhoy. For the tech heads out there, this is using a web protocol called OAuth, which is a secure way to allow two services to interact with each other without having to ever expose your username and password on one service to the other. And it's exactly what I use for Dropbox and OneDrive and Google Drive and a few other things as well. So that's it. Once it's set up, you never have to do that again unless and until you deauthorize MyFlightbook to write to your CloudAhoy account. So let's show how this works. I'll start by showing how you can pull CloudAhoy flights into MyFlightbook so that you can actually log them. And I'll do that by going to the import function, which is under the Logbook tab. And you'll see here that there is a new section that doesn't show up unless you've authorized CloudAhoy that lets you import from CloudAhoy. So I'm going to click on Import Recent Flights, and that lets me specify starting and ending dates. You can do that both for efficiency, but also it helps you avoid pulling in flights that you've already pulled into your logbook. You can leave either one blank. If you just do a start date, it'll pull all the flights from that start date. If you do an end date, it'll pull all the flights before that date. If you leave them both blank, it'll just pull in all of your flights. And here we are. And it's worth noting that this has not been put into my logbook directly. It's gone into my pending flights. And there are a couple of reasons for this. One is that I might want to put in details that CloudAhoy couldn't determine. Names of passengers, how much time was actual IMC versus simulated IMC, things like that. What's my instructor's name? Another is that there can be errors. So for example, here's a flight that was on CloudAhoy that didn't have an aircraft, and all flights in MyFlightbook need to have an aircraft. And so I can review these flights and edit them and fix them up. And the way you do that is you just click on the date of the flight. You can make any changes, and then you click on Add Flight to actually save the flight into your logbook. It's worth noting here that you may have seen all those blue hyperlinks on the previous screen. That's in here. Look at all this stuff. HTTP, www.cloudahoy.com, and so forth. These are links into CloudAhoy, into the flight, and into specific maneuvers in the flight itself, so that you can click from MyFlightbook and go directly to debrief a particular maneuver. MyFlightbook will automatically highlight and make clickable anything that looks like a hyperlink for you. And so as a result, you can see that these are clickable links that will take me into CloudAhoy. And so I can just go through these and add the flights into my directly into my logbook. So that's how I can pull flights into MyFlightbook from CloudAhoy. How do I push them? Well, let's go to our my logbook and take a look at our flights. So here's a flight on July 7th, and it's got telemetry data. You can tell from the little paperclip icon. That means that it's got something that I can show on a map or a graph. Now, it's really important actually that it have not just anything you can graph. It has to have latitudes, longitudes with timestamps, ideally with speed, and ideally very tightly spaced in time. So here's my flight. You can see my flight path here. And the samples are very nicely, tightly spaced, so it should be a good data set. So if I click on the download tab here, I can see that the original file was in CSV. That's what the MyFlightbook iOS and Android apps use, and I use that because it's compact. But one of the downsides of CSV is that you can use any data format, any data schema you want. I choose to use feet and knots because that's generally human readable for a pilot. But for exchanging data between applications, you have to have an agreed upon set of units. So we use GPX format. Doesn't really mean anything. Don't worry about it. It's a GPS data exchange format, and that wants its data in meters and meters per second. So all I have to do is just tell what units I'm using in the data as it's currently stored on MyFlightbook. If you stored it originally as GPX, then you don't need to do this because I know that it's meters and meters per second. But in the case of CSV files generated with the apps, I store it in knots and feet, and so you just have to say that, and that's what it defaults to. And then you see there's this send to CloudAhoy link. And if I click on that, and wait just a moment, it pushes the flight into my account on CloudAhoy, as you can see. And in fact, here's my link, view on CloudAhoy. So if I now click that link, here's the flight I just saved on July 7th, and it's pulling in a thumbnail. And if I view that, you can see there's the path of the flight that I took, and you can do all of your debriefing. So that's how you send a flight to CloudAhoy on the website. You can also do this using the iOS app. I'm going to show that here briefly. I'm using the development iOS simulator here, so because it's easier to do on just one machine where I'm recording a video. But here's that same flight, the July 7th flight, and if I click that and I click on the I next to the route, I now can see that on a map, including my path. And if I click on the send to icon up here, let me highlight that, this guy here. So if I click on that, then it will pull the GPX from the server and allow me to send that to CloudAhoy. Now I'm using the emulator here, so it's not showing me the other apps, but if you have CloudAhoy installed on your iPhone or iPad, then it will let you send it to CloudAhoy and debrief it there. So I encourage you to try this out. CloudAhoy is a great service, especially if you're in training. Give them a try and let me know if you have any comments or suggestions or feature requests or bug reports on the integration. Thanks.